All right. Hey, Arthur, thank you so much for coming on the Camel Key podcast show. It's great to have you on here, and it's been great to get to know you at the last couple of conferences. We see each other. We actually are still benefiting off the coffee that you had at the VRMA. It's still in our fridge, and so we think about you often and keep us caffeinated here at Camel Key. So thank you for that. Uh, I love what you do. I think it's awesome that you found a niche in the vacation rental industry and have really I wouldn't say pivot, but now you're starting to do more things from what you've done when I first met you, several years ago. So I'd love for you to kind of just talk about who you are, what your business does, and how you help individuals in the vacational space.
Yeah, of course. So my name's Arthur Colker. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called StayFi, which was founded way back in 2018. Originally got into the vacation rental space through marketing consulting. So I was hired by large vacation rental property managers to help them develop their own independent brand and over time become less dependent on OTAs like Airbnb and Vrbo by developing a direct booking brand, which is obviously beneficial for a lot of reasons, from not needing to pay all the fees to the OTAs to being able to dictate more of the terms of the stay to have a source of demand that helps you get higher occupancy and higher rates. So that's what my focus was. One of the biggest gaps I found when it came to vacation rental businesses when I was doing consulting with them is that they had a real lack of guest data. So for like any hospitality business, whether it's hotels, anything where you want to drive, repeat traffic, one of the most valuable things you can do is have data on who your guests are, what they like to do, how often they to come visit your destination, so that you can market to them and convert them from somebody who books on an Airbnb to booking on your own website. And the brands I work with had very little data. And that's because Airbnb and Vrbo and other platforms very smartly don't share this data with operators because they obviously want people to keep booking there. So we were working with a company called Heirloom, and they also had this issue. They had almost no guest data to market to. So I was coming up with solutions to potentially get more data on people staying in the properties. And that's how we came up with StayFi. So essentially, what StayFi does is when guests are in a property and they need to join the Wi-Fi, to get on the Wi-Fi, they go through a captive splash page. The same thing you've seen at a coffee shop or an airport or hotel. Essentially, every guest has to provide their name, email, phone number to get on the Wi-Fi. And that way, we're not just capturing data from the booker, we're capturing data from every adult in a vacation rental, which can be 5, 10, 15 plus people per stay. So our clients go from maybe getting one email max per booking to getting 15, 20 emails per stay. And that supercharges building an email marketing list that they can then go to and market to again and again. So Fence founding StayFi with Heirloom was our first customer. Now we have grown, to servicing tens of thousands of properties around the world and have collected almost 4 million guest emails from all of those stays. So we're just becoming a really vital part of any operator's direct booking strategy when it comes to, really reducing dependence on third-party platforms.
So before StateFi, they were just relying on whatever they got from Airbnb, VRBO, whatever they were using to collect a client. And to your point, whoever basically booked it was what the email they were getting.
Yeah, and even with Airbnb, you don't even get the booker's email. With Vrbo Booking, sometimes you do. Booking now less so. And obviously, those platforms want to give you as little data as they can because they want to own that guest relationship forever. So, yeah, for that particular instance, they were over 98% OTA. And now they get, at least 15 to 30% of their bookings every month directly, primarily from email marketing. And that's true for most customers that work with StayFi. Some start with a lot more, some start already getting 30, 40% of the bookings direct. But over time with StayFi, that percentage of bookings that come directly just grows because your list is always growing. And you can imagine, now at the upper end, we have clients that have over 500 properties that have used StayFi for 3+ years. They have hundreds of thousands of emails in their guest database. And every time they send an email, they're getting 5, 10, 15, 20 bookings just from that email. And those are always higher margin bookings, typically at better prices further out in time. So it's just, and of course, then you have all the control over the cancellation policy and all that stuff because you're not dealing with a third party intermediary who may be more likely to take the guest side than your side in any dispute.
So you're not just helping them get the emails, you're also then helping with a game plan of how to market to these individuals again, a second and third time. Because I'm sure now you
Yeah,
have
so
like frequent
those
trap.
Yeah, so those are some of the services that we've built. So initially, StayFi was just data collection, and we connected to tools like MailChimp or Constant Contact to send the data. But what we realized over time is that those tools are great, but they're not industry specific, right? They're all just filled with generic templates and all sorts of different businesses use. Let's say a MailChimp. So we were the first company to introduce a vertically industry specific email marketing tool that's also now part of the StayFi platform. So in there we have templates and automations that make sense for vacation rental operators. And we also integrate with most property management software to help pull in relevant data. So kind of an example is like, let's say you use Streamline or OwnerRez or Hospitable, any of these popular softwares. When you connect your property management software, we go through all of your reservations and we will pull over to our email tool any real emails you've ever collected, as well as any new ones that happen to come into that system. So now you're supplementing the Wi Fi data with other data you've collected into one tool. And then when you go and create an email in our software, we have something, let's say, called like a last minute availability email. So you craft this template and you can put in a date range, and we'll show you all the properties that are not booked for those dates. And then you can select those properties and they'll get inserted into the email with like the prices and the dates. So you can, let's say you send out an email blast, hey, last minute discount for this upcoming weekend. Here are the 4 properties that are not booked that you can book for this special deal through our website. So we have all these special templates and use cases that make sense for vacation rentals in our email tool that you're not going to find with a generic email marketing tool.
That's amazing. So what are you actually taking over the client's MailChimp if they have one right now, or are you basically replicating MailChimp and now providing them a whole new like CRM?
Yeah, it's our own CRM and our own platform
Got
that
it.
has all these, we call them one-click automations and templates. So all these kind of pre-built campaigns that are very commonly sent. But then we also have like a full email builder. So if you want to do something totally custom, you have that option as well. So it's kind of built for users that don't have a lot of experience and just want something that can be done in 3 minutes. And then folks that want to do like a custom fancy email, we support that as well. And then we replace having to pay for another tool like a MailChimp. So we kind of bring that all in house. And we also bring in data from other places, things like your PMS. We're going to pull that data in. So any marketable data that you have, we're just centralizing into one place for you to do all your email marketing from.
And then are they still doing it themselves, or are you like doing it for them? You're just giving them the platform on how to do it themselves on your
Yeah,
platform.
yeah. So all of our customers, we don't offer like email marketing agency services, but we have a lot of partners that do. So I'd say the vast majority of our clients manage the email in-house because we made it so easy. So that's all the way from people with one listing that they own and operate to property managers with 500. Obviously, the 500 plus probably has a dedicated in-house person. The owner can just do that themselves. You can literally send an email in 5 minutes. But then we also have third party partners that if you want to outsource this whole thing and have someone go into your StayFi account and do it all for you, we have like a selection of those as well. So you can hire someone to do all your email marketing as well.
That's amazing. So you really are not just helping, on the marketing side, you're actually becoming like a marketing team for them, essentially. You're putting all those pieces together. So you are helping like save them a lot of time and energy. Not even coming up with a new idea of what to send out there, because I'm sure you have clients that have sent out other things that have good return rates that you're kind of like not copying from all, but kind of you already know what's working, not recreating the wheel. So these templates that you're providing are probably ones that have been proven.
Yeah, so we look at all of our clients, see what's working, we talk to them, and then we kind of build that so any person could send it. So for instance, we have like a Wi-Fi welcome email. So essentially you imagine 8 people arrive at a property. If you think about it, the only person who's been talking to the host or the operator is the booker. So, like, they have a back and forth. Maybe you sent the booker your house guidebook, whether it's digital or PDF, but the 7 other people, they've never communicated with you. They don't know who you are. They don't know that you're a brand and not just Airbnb, right? When they all log onto the Wi-Fi, first they get introduced to your company, and then the Wi-Fi welcome automation in our tool will send them an email right away. And then in that email, we basically pre-built all these things called like merge fields where you can associate a guidebook with each property in StayFi. And then in that welcome email will be like link to our guidebook. And then we'll open the guidebook for that property. And that way you're going to get less questions from guests because now we're finally putting that information in front of the 7 non-bookers who have had no exposure to your brand. And we know people are not good about sharing information. So we also like empower everybody who's staying with you to get whatever information you want to put right into their hands when they log into the Wi-Fi for the first time.
Do you have statistics of how many properties you've gotten booked from people that were not the actual person of the Airbnb that were these guests that you actually helped curate from getting these emails? Do you have like any like
Yeah, so
data
we've
on
done like different case studies with customers, and definitely the majority of like more than half the bookings come from the non-booking guests. It's also
crazy?
something you probably would never be able to tie back before because they might have different names and things like that. So
True.
for instance, if you use like Guesty, every PMS is like different, right? But for instance, in Guesty, when we get someone's email from the Wi-Fi, we push that also back into Guesty. And then Guesty has this guest list feature where if anyone makes a booking in the future, it's shown as a return guest. And then you can go see that, oh, this is data that StayFi sent me for this booking. You're like, hey, this person never booked before, but then you realize, oh, it's one of the non-booking guests that StayFi had collected. So yeah, and then of course, outside of that are referrals, which we can't track as well, right? So just because you now empowered these folks, you've educated them that booking direct typically is cheaper also than booking through an OTA because you don't have those extra fees. They're gonna, if you educate guests about that, someone may ask them, hey, you stay at that awesome house, we're traveling to XYZ. You know, that person, hopefully, if you've done enough touch points post stay, will be like, hey, if you want to book this, go to their website because it's going to be less expensive or you get some other benefit by going direct. And so that's what we're always trying to educate guests through the course of all these emails, Wi-Fi welcome, post stay. So sending an email post stay, we have stay anniversary, and creating those multiple automated touch points so that when someone's either referring you or in the mode to book another trip, they remember, oh, hey, we should go directly to their website.
When I know you said that they're using the StayFi like CRM, so when they're sending out these emails, is it their brand? Are you branding them so it's like white labeled?
Yeah, so everything is there. No, at no point in this whole process do you ever see the word StayFi. If you like go into the terms and conditions of the splash page, it's like buried in there that, we're the service provider. So when they hit the splash page, it's your brand. Then we actually take them to this place called a home page. So like what is the destination post splash page? We have this very simple, I almost describe it as like a link tree. So you can have all the essential links for this listing, things like a guidebook, book this property again, a link to upsells where we have some like partners that you can turn on as well so people can like purchase late checkout, all that kind of stuff. That's called the homepage. And then when they get the emails, it's all your branding. We set it up so it comes from your domain. So at no point in the process is there any StayFi involved. It's all coming from your brand and your voice.
It sounds like a no brainer. And if you didn't have something like this, I don't know why you wouldn't. So like, what's the biggest misconception that you get from someone like once they get on a StayFi and they're in the process, like after a month in, and they say like, Arthur, I had no idea how easy. Like, what's the biggest misconception they had that they didn't jump to you sooner? Because to me right now, like if I didn't have the ability to grab all these guest emails, I feel like you're just losing money on the table. So like. Once they're in, I'm sure people feel like, oh my gosh, I've been missing out this whole time. But like, what's the misconception they don't do it originally?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. One is they think guests are going to complain. Like, oh, I don't want to off like make my guests log in. I think this is so normal in every other hospitality type location. Like you're at a no one goes to the front desk of like the Marriott and is like, how dare you make me log into the Wi-Fi at a coffee shop at an airport, right? So like in this whole process of traveling, people do this. I think it also makes that whole process seem more professional because you're going from like generic mystery Airbnb host, like who is this person, right? To like, oh, this is a professional company that has their stuff together and is operating in like an above board way with a legitimate brand, and I can go and like contact them, through this website, right? So I think it can really professionalize the feeling for guests and their whole experience with staying with you. And then I think the other big myth is like email marketing doesn't work, or like a lot of people transpose their own personal biases when it comes to marketing onto like everybody. They're like, well, I don't ever open emails or I unsubscribe from everything. So like why would guess? Email marketing by brands is still reported again and again as the highest ROI channel, much higher than Google ads or Facebook advertising, just because the cost per impression is so low. Like even if you have a few thousand contacts in our database, you're gonna be paying, $30, $40 a month to the ability to send them all an email as many times as you want. That's so much cheaper per impression and per booking than you get through like a Facebook ad or a Google ad. Brands and companies still report email as highest ROI channel. And we see that in our even people that send, we were looking at we did a webinar recently with different case studies, even 800 contacts in a list, emails with like 50% open rates and 10% click-through rates, and one or two bookings attributed just to this one email to, a few hundred people. So the evidence is there that it works. So you just kind of have to back away from your own internal biases around marketing because maybe you are the person that never opens emails, but that doesn't mean, a good portion of your audience is like that.
Very, very solid points. And I think that's honestly, I think that would be the reason me too if I was a property manager. It's the same thing. Like I hate when I get solicited, but at the same time, I open up emails to things that I know that I've used and that I'm going to use. And Airbnb is one of those things, or the brand that I stayed at would be one of those things that I subscribe to that I'd want to know what's going on. So people are now sold on this thought process of, I need StayFi in my life. How do they find you? How do they go through the process? What does it look like to get, the ball rolling?
Yeah, so they go to stayfi.com and you can actually create an account and get signed up at no cost if you just want to like poke around the tool. What's cool is if you connect your property management software, and I think we have like over 20 that we connect with, you actually get a free email marketing account up to 200 contacts. So something that people don't realize is that yes, we have a Wi-Fi product to collect data, but we also have the email marketing tool. Those are separate subscriptions, and some people only use the email tool. Maybe you collect emails another way, or you just have a bunch of one bedroom condos and you usually get the booker's email. You don't need the Wi Fi product just to use the email product and market to the data that you already have. So that's the one thing is you can go to StayFi, you can sign up. And then if you want to add the Wi-Fi product, it's a very simple process. You purchase this device from us. It plugs into your router. It broadcasts a new guest network that has the same name and instructions in all property. And all you do properties, and all you do is direct guests to join this network instead of the old network, which you can still keep running in the background. If you want to learn more or get like a one-on-one demo on stayfi.com/demo, or you can click the demo. We have a demo page where you can watch a video as well as sign up for a one-on-one demo with one of our reps, and they will go through the whole process. They can recommend the devices you need, and they can, walk you through the whole setup process. So just go to stayfi.com, sign up if you want to poke around, and then if you want to get a full demo, you can go to the demo page as well.
Thank you so much, Arthur, for sharing your time with us and doing what you do for the industry and helping hosts and owners make more on their investment by, collecting their data and actually using it in the right ways. Again, Arthur with StayFi. If you guys need anything, go to stayfi.com. And thank you again, Arthur, for being on here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Alex, and have a good rest of your day.
You too.